The NFL stands for not for long.
Set Sharga and Armstead. Roll out. Walker still running out. Looks to the left. Wide open. Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofting corner, the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Colin Thompson Show, presented by our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats around the country. You know the drill. Chocolate, vanilla, peanut butter, chocolate-covered pretzels. They're fantastic. It's the holiday season. Get somebody some fudge, some chocolate, some saltwater taffy. Ship it around the country, fudgekitchens.com. Welcome back to the Colin Thompson Show, presented by Not For Long Media. That's Jack Connell. I'm Colin Thompson. Lots to talk about on the show today. We got NFL trades. We got NFLPA kind of news update I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Eagles. Holy cow. Is this a must-win next week for the Giants? Just to quiet some people down? It has not been the same there since they've been to the Super Bowl. We have a lot of things going on. I get the pleasure to host SiriusXM, Channel 88, NFL Radio, The Players Point on Tuesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. That reruns Wednesday mornings, I believe, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. What a privilege and an honor it is to have a show on Sirius, host a show on Sirius. And then we'll be Mad Dog Radio tomorrow, let's say 2 p.m. I was on Mike Gill today at 2:30 every Tuesday with, I think, the best Philly sports talk radio show, Mike Gill out of Atlantic City. Check him out. Love their app. So a lot going on in my world. The kid, the baby, she's doing excellent. Our first big trip away went to the Shenandoah Mountains, Jack. Shenandoah River. Jack, what's the song? What's that song about, Jack?
About Western Virginia, not West Virginia.
Not West Virginia, but it wouldn't be good, right? It wouldn't sound good.
Western Virginia doesn't have the same tune to it.
Blue Ridge Mountains. I was staying in the Blue Ridge Mountains, Jack. It was stunning, stunning, stunning views. You are in the middle of nowhere, but for someone who wants a little getaway, middle of nowhere, mid-Atlantic, Northeast, this place was awesome. Luray. Shout out to Luray. Maybe, I don't know, 1,000 residents. Hung out there, had a great time. Congrats to my cousins Ryan and Ree on my cousin Ryan and my cousin-in-law, I guess, Ree, for getting married. They're two JMU grads, so a great, great wedding there. Really tremendous family time and love, blessed to have a great family and to spend some time with my family just to get away a little bit was awesome. Wasn't able to watch the huge college slate of college football. That was a tough one, but was able to watch a lot of NFL, so I'm going to touch base on a few different things today. First off, Jack, how are you, my friend? What's going on in your world? Talk to me.
Just continuing the grind of the NFL season. Enjoying. There's a lot of good games going on. I mean, trades picking up a bit. NBA season's picking up. I feel like the trade debt. Like, I don't know. I feel like the trade excitement's over now. Like, I don't think anybody else is really going to get traded anymore, exciting wise, this season in the NFL. So I feel like that takes away from like the trade deadline and the mystique for the rest of the season, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal, but I feel like it's all expected. Like, Amari Cooper was expected to get traded. The Bills needed a wide receiver, and Davante Adams to the Jets was like complete basically like 5 months ago in everybody's minds. So I don't know. I feel like the trades, it's just like it's over with. Thank goodness, in my mind.
Well, I disagree with that, Jack. There's still going to be trades made in this league. Maybe in your fantasy football world that you live in, Jack. Possibly. All right. So my thoughts on the Amari Cooper and Davante Adams trade brought to you by Guardian Caps from Roger Goodell himself. It has been very effective and reduced concussions by 52%, mandated by all 32 NFL teams. Who won the trade? I don't know who won the trade. We'll find out, but I'll say this. The fits are both ideal for the team. What it does is this. For the Bills, I have a bunch of like 2A, 2B receivers, like really good receivers, rookies, veterans, like a really good group that's still productive, both two tight ends, the whole nine there. It just kind of bumps everyone down a slot, right? So now you have your pure number one receiver, who Mari's been a great route runner in this league forever. He's a big body guy. He's going to come in, have impact right away. He's played in this type of system before in Dallas. He played it with the Cleveland, so I could see him adapting right away. And then Davante Adams. He's the perfect fit for the Jets. Let's keep it real for the Jets, guys. Their defense is awesome. Their offense showed really positive steps running the football at the play action game. So there's excitement in New York. I get it. 2-4. They're not what they're supposed to be. But this move is perfect. He's going to come into an offense he already knows. He's going to join a quarterback he has familiarity with. It's a win-win across the board. So I think it's a draw for now. I think they're both perfect fits and both perfect needs for what they need to get them teams both started early in the season, right? Not late in the season, trade deadline. Like they're going to have time now to get the engine moving with these news wideouts. Jack, what are your thoughts on the deals?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like Keon Coleman's still hitting his rookie woes with the Bills, so they really need somebody. I mean, Dalton Kincaid's been phenomenal. Dawson Knox is just doing Dawson Knox thing. So it's nothing. You need a wide receiver as much as your tight ends can be productive. I mean, you even see this with the Chiefs a little bit. I feel like in previous years, post Tyreek Hill, like Tyreek Hill could, or not Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce could be so great, but you still need help from your receivers. And as great as Dalton Kincaid has been, you need some receiver help. And I just think Amari Cooper is the perfect. He's reliable. He is reliable. He's not flashy. He's not exciting, but he is a reliable wideout that will get the job done for the Bills. And contractually, the biggest thing is the Browns restructured Amari Cooper's contract before the season to make him extremely tradable and fit on any roster. He's a minimum cap pace, like $830,000. So if the Bills want to make another move, it doesn't prohibit them. And it also doesn't hurt them long-term or short-term cap-wise. And it was an easy trade to make. And it was a third rounder and a seventh rounder for a sixth, Amari Cooper. So you move back 2 rounds, and this is your win now window, right? I mean, the Bills are considered to be retooling a bit, but I think it was a really great move for the Bills.
Great stuff, Jack. Great points on the salary cap stuff. Absolutely massive points. The Eagles are a mess, and this is presented by the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats around the country. Listen, I said it last week on the show. This is not the same football team that went to the Super Bowl multiple years ago. The roster may be better, but there's just been a stink around the team here for quite a while now. I've talked about it before. You got a head coach took team to the Super Bowl in his first year. You have a general manager that's one of the best in the league. You have a quarterback that's very good and highly paid. You have an owner that's extremely supportive. I don't know what it is, but whatever the mojo is going on there, last year they started off hot. They finished the year horrendously. It's not been pretty this year. This is a must win against the Giants. Must win. Like, this is a divisional game when there's people in this division playing really, really well. And that's the Washington Commanders. So last week, the Giants, they have an O-line that's played a lot of football together. They have a defense that's pretty darn good, right? Again, are they elite, high-powered offense? No. But are the Eagles? They should be with their players. So to me, this is a must-win against the Giants. Just optically, like some wins and some losses, they're not, they look a little differently. The Browns aren't that good, and the Eagles barely won. So, like, a win's a win. But when it comes to confidence building and this stuff like that, like, there's a lot of players on that team that played a lot of football at a high level. Like, eventually, when is someone going to say enough's enough? We're the Philadelphia Eagles. Stop running out of bounds, right? Get every inch you possibly can get. Where's that physicality, that bite that Philadelphia is all about, that blue collar? And that's when I watch the tape, I don't feel it. And to me, it's just not the same. So they have an opportunity this week to go on the road, circle the wagons, and try to get a win in New York, because this is a bigger game than people think it is.
Yeah. Jack,
you're paid on the show too, right? Jack goes,
but we have a natural cadence here. I
should said
chemistry. You always go, Jack, your thoughts.
That is true.
You leave a little behind the curtains. You always leave a 1 second buffer with you for social media content.
Yes, that's true.
That's
true. You're right.
I can't. I'm not in your head. I can't read your mind.
You should be in my head. You've already been dealing with my shit for years. Blah, 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 blah. Eagles. Jack, what are your thoughts?
This Eagles, this Eagles team is very confusing to me. I think it's the simplest way to say it. And this offense, it feels very different from the start of the season. I felt like, I don't know the exact numbers. I'm just going off eye test here. It felt like to start the season, the first 2 weeks, we saw a lot of motion. You saw a lot of Saquon getting motioned into the backfield, a lot of like behind the running back motion, just a lot of motions. And I just feel like we're not seeing that a whole lot more recently, which is alarming from the sense that I feel like it helps quarterbacks it helps identify. It's not exact clear cut because teams can disguise it, but it helps give you a sense of its zone or man coverage. And it's just, I feel like not doing that simplest thing is confusing. I don't know why they are going away from it, But again, there's a reason. There's a reason Kellen Moore's an NFL offensive coordinator, Jalen Hurts is an NFL quarterback, and I'm sitting here on a podcast, So, I can't really say that that's the wrong thing, but it's something that I have noticed.
You just can't put a finger on it, man. That's my biggest thing. There's a lot of football people in this world that are like, oh, it's Jalen Hurts. Well, Jalen made some pretty ridiculous throws this week. It's like, okay. I don't know, man. I just personally, I think they got to line up, get under center, slow the game down, and let their people lean on people. It's a physical outfit. They got physical, dominant players. They got one of the most physical receivers in the NFL. No one pushes him around. They got tight ends who can block, run. They got a back who's generational. You got a quarterback who doesn't get tackled. So it's just what? It's just
I feel like it's something, not to the same degree, but I feel like it's something you saw a little bit in Baltimore and the shift out of it. Jalen Hurts was very, very dynamic that first year because he just ran a lot more, whether it was his decision or the team's. He was on the run more. He was out of the pocket. He was scrambling, design runs, just a lot more runs. And he hasn't run nearly as much recently. I don't know if it's for health reasons. I personally think it's just he's getting a little older. He's had a lot of lower body injuries. And so he's just a little bit of a step slower, and they're trying to protect him. And so that 5% of a dynamic changes everything. And in Baltimore, in previous years, up until this year, Lamar had run less and less, and he wasn't as fast. They were keeping him in the pocket to protect him, and he was also he put on a lot of muscle, so he was slower. So he went back to it. He literally, I think he said he lost 30 pounds going into this season, and he got a step faster himself. He claimed, I feel faster. And I just think that mobility has helped change that offense, make it a little more unpredictable. I just think the predictability of knowing that Hurts is not going to run it more than he did in previous years is just changing how the offense is.
Yeah. All great points, Jack, as always. Bring great perspectives. All right, let's pivot. I want to talk on a few things here. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. Here we go. All right, let's touch on something from the NFLPA, something that went down and kind of got swept under the rug a little bit here with all the news and notes around the NFL, presented by our friends at Guardian Caps, used by over 300 college football teams, all 32 NFL teams, dozens of teams in the CFL. Absolutely loved wearing Guardian Caps as a player. Quote from the NFLPA: over the past 3 years, the NFLPA has tried to work with the NFL and Pro Football Writers of America to move the media interviews out of the locker room. However, there's been little willingness to collaborate on the solutions. Players feel the locker room interviews invade their privacy and are uncomfortable. This isn't about limiting media access, but it's about respecting players' privacy and dignity. Great job, NFLPA. Listen, I've been in dozen locker rooms, and the first time you're in the locker room, I was with the Chicago Bears. I'm getting changed. I'm walking to the shower after practice, and there's 30, 40 media people in the locker room. 10 of them are ladies. First off, it's a men's locker room. So no one should be in the locker room, period. Primarily ladies, right? I think there should be equal opportunity for everyone to work in the world. But women can't be in the locker room, a men's locker room, right? It's very weird and awkward for everybody included. Players, the ladies, everything. It's weird. You're interviewing a player, sure, and he may have his clothes on, but the three guys right next to you in the locker room, they're all naked and you're trying to get changed, right? And it's your personal space. Coaches don't even come into the locker room. Literally, the coaches say, it's your sanctuary. We won't come in. Handle your business in there. Hang out in there. Whatever you have to do to play well, that's your area of peace away from coaches in front office. So to me, no media should be allowed in the locker room. There's plenty of space around NFL facilities, media rooms, players' rooms. There's ton of places to have these interviews outside, inside, lounges. Do that. And when you get requested to come out and do it as a player, you show up on time, you get interviewed by people, but let's get the media out of the locker room. It's really weird, guys. Think about it. Media, men and women, are coming in to interview someone while you're getting changed. Think about that. Super weird. So that needs to change completely. It's archaic. It's archaic. There's so much access now in the world when it comes to media, podcasts, radio shows. Find a way to make this work, NFLPA and NFL. And I think teams are already starting to implement that. Find a way to make it work. It shouldn't be uniform, but if you want to move it outside, you should be able to move the interview outside. Jack? I don't know. You didn't play in the NFL, which is a shame. You should have, but it's a weird situation. You don't have to tackle this one if you don't want to.
I was going to say, I've never been in an NFL locker room from either side of this, so I feel like it's not my place to make any comments about that. I'll leave that to the professionals.
Yeah, leave it to the professionals, Jack. All right, I want to talk about two teams in particular and just their impact on the NFL. And that's the Baltimore Ravens and that's the Detroit Lions. Honestly, right now, some of the two most fun teams to watch. Why? Really think about it. Why? First off, good quarterback play, right? Obviously, Lamar Jackson's one of the best quarterbacks on the planet. Jared Goff's playing fantastic. But it's just the mentality. It's just that physical, blue-collar, in-your-face, run the ball, stop the run, explosive plays to our receivers, right? Like, both teams invest heavily in offense and defensive line. Both teams have invested heavily in the quarterback position. Both teams have invested heavily in the running back position. Some positions that everyone else invests in, they haven't, right? Like, they're going to say this: we are going to run the ball. We are going to stop the run. Our coaches are going to have this physical, hard practice mentality, and that's what they have. Like, when is the rest of the NFL going to change their ways? The Niners have. They're the leaders in it. The Vikings have. They've now come around to it. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, don't anybody get it twisted, guys. They're running the ball well, right? The play action pass is there. When the Saints were good in the season, early in the season, they were running the heck out of the ball. The play action pass there. Think about the teams around the league that are losing that should be better. Not going to name names, but are they running the ball well? Do they have this physical identity of like, F you, man, we're just going to beat you up and play well? Because teams aren't used to it anymore. They're not used to it. And if you have weaknesses on your club, run the ball, stop the run, get back to old school football. Done with 7-on-7 stuff. It doesn't matter. And the really bad part about it is guys are getting cut over that stuff in the offseason. You don't even have pads on. Invest in tight ends that can block. Invest in fullbacks. Invest in big backs. Run the ball, stop the run, play action pass. You're in the playoffs. That's it. Now, you need a good quarterback. But like these teams that are going to try to run the Kansas City offense, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And it's being proven week after week in this league. The consistent teams that can ride the wave of the season, because they're going to be up and downs, they find a way to get it done by running the football and stopping the run. Jack, take me back to Hatboro Horse Show. Run the football, stop the run.
It's like Mark Twain. The depth of the running back has been greatly exaggerated. I mean, just like the one team you mentioned, specifically the Lions, David Montgomery, who I would consider that he's their running back too. Would you say that?
I think he's running back one, but
over, I mean, him and Gibbs, it's 1A, 1B, regardless. They spent a second-round pick or a first-round pick on Gibbs. I forget if he was a late first or an early second. Still, high draft capital on Gibbs, and they just gave David Montgomery $20 million. He has 2 years on his contract.
And their whole line a bunch of money.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the O-line, giving your line a lot of money is traditional. But you have a running back, it could be considered your running back two, on contract for 2 years, and you just gave him another 2 years, another $20 million. Like, that just shows you right there that running backs, like, there was like a 3-year period there where running backs were just dead on the water. Like, guys like Jonathan Taylor and whoever else was up for a deal at that point, they got screwed. And now you're seeing the money shift back there. Saquon Barkley, I mean, Saquon, I think, should be making more than he is, but I mean, he's at the top end. He was at the beginning of that renaissance. Now you're seeing Montgomery. Tony Pollard got money at Tennessee. He's been doing great for the Titans. That offense has been struggling, but he has been a very good bright spot for them when many people were worried about his production in Dallas last season. So I just think you're seeing the research. It's very fascinating from a historical perspective to just see the trends in the NFL and see things come in and out. People think things are just linear. Like, oh, running backs are gone now. They're always going to be gone. The NFL is only going to be 60 pass attempts a game moving forward. And now you're seeing go back, oh, we're going to run it 30 times a game. We're going to have two backs. We're going to have a bell cow guy. And it's just fullbacks are back now. Like, it's just interesting to always see that from a 1,000-foot view. Yeah,
no, great points, Jack. It's true. Like, look at Michigan football last year. People couldn't even play with them. Why?
Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum.
And like a big ass offensive line and big tight ends, period. Right? Like, people are like, I don't know about JJ McCarthy. He's not a winner. It's like, I don't know. Kid's pretty damn good. Right? And when he comes to Minnesota next year, Minnesota's going to have a decision to make for sure on what they're going to handle with the Sam Darnold situation. Let's talk Minnesota. Let's talk Detroit Lions, the matchup of the week this weekend. Let me know your school predictions below. This is a great game, right? Like, this is it. This is a premier game in the NFC. The Vikings coming off the bye week. They're 5-0. They come back from London. Listen, they've had some hiccups throughout the year. It has not been perfectly clean, right? If you watch the highlights, you think it's completely clean. If you watch the film, you know they can get better. Some weird pre-snap penalties, some plays that could have been turnovers that weren't, right? The ball hasn't bounced their way all the time, but man, it has, because defensively, they are roaring with Brian Flores and all the great players they have on that side of the ball. And then offensively, they've done a great job. They've blocked the punt on special teams. So that team is playing cohesive football in all three phases. That's awesome. Detroit, you could say the same thing about them. Now, the Aiden Hutchinson situation, man, that's a huge blow for them. Off the field, the juice, the morale, all that, but on the field, more importantly, this guy is an absolute monster. So, for me, this is the game of the week. I'm interested to see what your score prediction is below, because I can't wait. I can't wait. It's already recorded on my TV. I'm ready to rock. Huge, obviously, Vikings fan because I played for them, but also a huge fan of everything they have going on there in Detroit with Dan Campbell and the culture and all that stuff they have there. So, Jack, you got a prediction of who's going to win?
That game, I don't. That's going to be a very close battle.
Did I say Aiden Hutchinson wrong? You looked at me weird.
No, I was thinking through this is a very good, there are like 4 really good games this week. Like, we're at the point in the season where it's like, you're hoping the 2 bad teams play each other because 2 good to line up in a 2 good team matchup instead of beatdowns. Like, looking at, you got Texans Packers. Like, the 1 o'clock window is, it's pretty evenly distributed. But 1 o'clock window, you got the game you just mentioned, Lions Vikings. You got Texans Packers. And then later in the day, you've got Chiefs Niners and Ravens Bucks. Jets Steelers. Jets Steelers is going to be interesting just from all the outside stuff.
Browns Bengals. Any of those teams lose, it's over. Like, I know it's like a toilet bowl game. I get that. And those 2 franchises should be winning. They're loaded with talent. But like, there's games, Giants, Eagles, implications on the future of both franchises. Browns, Bengals, implications on the future of the franchises. Go back. You're right. Jets, Steelers. Big time implications, right? Who's the quarterback for the Steelers? What's going on with the Jets? I agree.
Yeah, I've not witnessed this. Maybe you have. But Justin Fields hasn't been great. This has been a defensive-led team, but he's not been bad. Justin Fields hasn't shown he shouldn't be the starter. And I just think it's very, very, very risky to go to Russell Wilson or give Russell Wilson a chance with how things have been going. Like, I saw a tweet. It's a great point. The Steelers are 1 goal line stand away from being 5-1 and being a top 5 team in the NFL, record-wise and just overall considered-wise. And I don't think there's any reason to go to Russell Wilson. It's not like you have a financial or contractual obligation to do so. You're not paying him a lot of money. You didn't trade a lot for him. He's not like, he didn't earn a spot. He doesn't have anything besides just previous history to warrant the switch.
And the Browns and Bengals are down, right? They're not good teams right now. So my point is, to your point, like, it's not like the division is what it usually is, Jack. Mm-hmm. Like, if the Browns and Bengals are 500 right now, right, you're like, all right, well, we need more from the quarterback position if you're a Steelers player, right, or a coach. But like, you're chasing you're chasing the Ravens, right?
Yeah, they're both. Well, the Ravens, I think they're 5. I don't know if the Ravens are 5-1 or if they're 4-2. I know they lost to the Raiders. I don't know if they lost another game. Regardless, at most of the 1 game differential.
They have 2 losses. Yeah.
So yeah, they could easily win the North. So especially against the Jets, like, it's not like this is a game like the Browns where you could walk out with a win and Russ struggles and you can make that switch right back. Like, this is a Jets team now going in with a Davante Adams, a second week in a new offensive play call. I feel like I don't watch much
win for the Jets. Must win.
Yeah, must win.
Yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head per usual.
It's too risky. Yeah, I'm the NFL expert here, so I always do.
You are. Correct. You get all your stuff from Ross Tucker and Andrew Brandt, the 2 shows you produce. Then you come on my show and sound like you're really smart. But that's neither here nor there. As Jack looks down at his phone and takes a work thing, he forgot to send, and there he goes. He's off to the races. A great Jack Connell. Listen, I'm Colin Thompson. Special thanks to our friends at the original Fudge Kitchen. Special thanks to our friends at the Guardian Caps. Awesome group that I've been able to do some work with, but also I got to play with the cap on. I loved it. I wish I had it my whole entire career. I really do. Adamant about the product. So let's see anything else. That's it. 30, 25 minutes. Jack and I hit on a couple things. Again, appreciate everybody tuning into the show. I'm Colin Thompson. That's Jack Collin, and appreciate you listening to the Colin Thompson Show on Not For Long Media.